Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Bible in Order, where we are chronologically going through the entire Bible in 1 year. Today's reading for February 20th is Leviticus chapters 22 and 23. We are continuing through this book of the law, this book of the Levitical priesthood, with all of these rules and how many of them apply to us today. Well, some of them do, such as not marrying your sister or your daughter or your father's wife and different things like that. Some of these things seem very foreign to us, and yet all of it is here for our learning. There are principles that we can learn, such as in verse 1 of chapter 22, when Yahweh spoke to Moses and said, "Tell your brother Aaron and his sons to deal respectfully with the holy offerings of the Israelites that they have consecrated to me, so that they do not profane my holy name. I am Yahweh." Deal respectfully with the offerings that the people bring to them. And there's this principle of being a faithful steward, of respecting the property that is given to the priests. When the people brought their offerings, it was to God, it was to Yahweh, but it was the priests who benefited from the gifts to God, and they were to eat it. That's how they provided for their families. God provided through the people's offerings. And so God is saying, deal respectfully with the people's offerings, because if you don't, you will profane my name. And then we see it again down in verse 15. The priests must not profane the holy offerings the Israelites give to Yahweh. How? In verse 16, by letting the people eat their holy offerings. So don't even share what God is giving to you with people who are unworthy, people who are not supposed to receive it. And there's a lesson in that for us, for sure. We have to be careful and respectfully consider what we are to do with the things God places in our possession. Many of us, God has blessed tremendously, and we've let it slip through our hands as we've shared it with people who are not supposed to share in that inheritance. Many people today I hear crying out saying, "God bless me, give me more." And yet God is saying, "But I can't trust you with it because you're not doing with it what you're supposed to do. That is for you, not for you to give away." We have to listen to Jesus in all that we do. Everything that does not come from faith is sin. And so we say, "Lord, how have I sinned against you?" And when he reveals that to you, and I repent. "Father, I'm sorry that I squandered what you've given me." If maybe you're not guilty of this as I have been, maybe you've never given away something that you weren't supposed to, or maybe sometimes we've given things to the wrong people that was reserved for somebody else. Father, where I've sinned, I ask for your forgiveness, and I pray that you would teach me the lesson that I need to learn so that you can bless me. Chapter 23, verse 29, if anyone does not practice self-denial on the Sabbath day, on this particular day, he is to be cut off from his people. I will destroy among the people anyone who does any work on this same day. You're not to do any work. This is a permanent statute throughout your generations, wherever you live. It will be a Sabbath of complete rest for you, and you must practice self-denial. Why is this important? God set an example for us in creation where he created for 6 days, and he rested on the seventh day. There's a picture there that we are to follow. Why? Because he's made us in his image. He wants us to take a day off, to think about him, to think about life, to think about truth, to ponder what is actually true, so that we're not distracted and preoccupied and tricked, so we're not lulled to sleep by the media and music and our society and our culture. We're to be different. God is calling us to be different. Why? Because he's calling us to be like him. What an honor it is for us to deny ourselves so that we can learn to be like him. Jesus said, if anyone wants to come after me, he must first learn to deny himself. Not my will, Father, but yours be done. How can we deny ourselves in our culture today? Not for the sake of self-denial, but for the sake of being molded into his image. How can we do it? Please share your comments, your questions. Comment right here on Rumble, on YouTube, and on Facebook. You can even comment through Spotify if that's where you're listening. You can send in a voice message. And I love hearing from you. I love your questions. I love it when you disagree. It makes me sharper. You might teach me something. So don't hold back. I look forward to hearing from you. God bless you. See you tomorrow.